The car. It's big in the stuff of our lives category. I mean, big time fun, big time emotional attachment, big time tool for work, pleasure, exploration. It hits us in all our senses. Who doesn't connect food and flavors with your car? Road trip snacks alone. It's the only time I have corn nuts. Coffee fix drive-thrus. All the other senses absolutely treated by the existence of the car. It's a big topic. I like to attempt to live a well-rounded life. I have too many interests to just stick to one thing. Cars, very interesting to me, but I'm not a car expert or buff or motor man. I'm sure that's never been an acceptable label. But if you are one of those types, I can see why. It's a captivating category of interest and intrigue. I'm going to design a car and then build it. 3D print build it. Sketch, design, 3D model, then 3D print. A scaled down for design purposes car. At least for starters, I'm going to focus on the quality, the look, the craftsmanship. Since I've started this scratch art hobby and using a 3D printer for my current fun tool, I've mostly kicked out some organic artsy and craftsy projects. I really like those organic subjects and we'll be making some more animal creatures as soon as possible, but I do need to grow up my skills and try something to advance them. I'm really hoping to have a final product that looks super high quality and represents that captivating beauty of silky smooth, shiny, sleek precision we enjoy when we see a well-made car. Phase 1, the design. I must have been around 7-ish years old and I walked into our garage and my dad had the hood up on our car. And he said to me, this car has a Mitsubishi motor in it. We were an American-made, standard issue, Fords, John Deere's, Lazy Boys kind of family. This is not really one of the more significant car stories I could tell. I think my dad knew it was just going to be an out-of-the-ordinary thing to tell me about our otherwise very ordinary car at the time. I think it was a Chrysler. They bought Mitsubishi in 1971. Chrysler bought Mitsubishi in 71, not my parents. They didn't buy. My parents liked cars and had some nice ones, but they were in that phase many of us hit. Practical and ordinary rules the road for that phase, and the design wouldn't faze anyone. I also remember we continued in conversation, and I asked my dad why we didn't drive a Corvette. I don't remember his answer, but I remember thinking we've all seen these much more interesting cars out there. Why on earth are we picking these boring ones? To this day, the trend continues. Most of us drive the boring cars. I mean, the designs have gotten nicer, but the parameters, the similarities, the box that almost all cars are carved from are virtually the same. It's a funny, slow evolution that all the manufacturers adopt, stay on trend, and give you just a tick different from the other guy, but pretty much the same car in a box. I submit several reasons for this. One, economic. This could be boring, don't click away. For now, I'll just say one reason is it's safe. It sells, it works to move cars when people are shopping for a car similar to the next guy's. Blah, blah, blah. Money keeps them boring, and I could give you more. But moving on to the next reason, to stand out from the crowd makes most of us nervous. Blending in makes most people comfortable. That whole, come on, you're special, unique, like the rest of us silly thought fits here. From a free-flowing designing for fun standpoint, why would I want to make yet another boring car? Why not remove these parameters and just make whatever I feel? Maybe there is a problem there worth solving, something completely different. I mean, will the car of the future look dramatically, radically different from these same box of cars running around now? Maybe there's a great option worth exploring, reinventing the wheels and the body and the brains. That's maybe a separate project. But for this assignment, I will embrace the good part of following some standards, parameters that are not altogether bad. I do like this challenge as well. The 3-point line, the batter's box, the college degree, the 16-ounce steak, the goalpost. It's all great to have targets that we can aim for to test ourselves. In trying to create a car that is familiar yet unique, not so jarring that you create a scene, but something you delight in, its individual appeal. That's the challenge here. That's my next scratch art project. Have you ever looked in the mirror and just slightly nudged your nose in a direction, or your ears? It changes everything about your look. The tiniest adjustment. The face on a car has been the challenge of designers through the years to nudge and tweak with unlimited possibilities, as it is the strongest visual component in all the design aspects of the car. Even keeping within the boundaries set to fit a common car category, there are so many options to consider with the face of a car. My youngest son has often made me laugh with his commentary on the taillights of cars. He just has a fantastic visual perspective. He'll say, "Dad, look, that car is really shocked or surprised," along with the usual happy cars, sad cars, and angry cars. He'll see one and say, "That car looks confused," like it's saying, "Huh?" And he's right. We automatically personify cars anyway. And then some designers and owners go ahead and really up the obvious communicated emotion. It might be nice if some future features would allow us to flip a switch to at least briefly change the emotion, because I'm not sure if that Jeep is having a really bad day, is really mad at me, or needs to run over something. You don't need a goofy smile back, but a resting chill face option would be super comforting. The rest of the design is important too, but the face of the vehicle has so much influence and reflection of the design, so I just started sketching and sketching and sketching to let myself play without a lot of boundaries, but still staying in the traditional dimensional boxes. I admit, I'm not really a car designer. Like any artist as a kid, I would do my best sketching Lamborghinis and go-karts and all sorts of doodle attempts. There are so many makes, models, years of visual consumption. It is a bit like thinking, let's start a new music genre right now and go. And just like music, it usually is an evolution and a remix of some familiar ingredients with just a dash of something a little different. I need to be prepared. If this does make it to any volume of public audience, the opinions will be there. Some might even be harsh criticisms. The car is important to a lot of people. I can't help but find myself sorting things into categories, genres of cars. There's the super hyper space hero rocket fighter ship jock monster category. I love the look of these with the amazing advancement and designs. This category is filled with beauties, cars we can dream about driving. I'd love to try and design one, and also when searching what is out there, it feels quite obvious it'd be tough to construct something that's a big hit or even plays on the same stage as some fantastic works of art. So, on to another category. There's the retro mod mean muscle machines. It's cool how the old school vibes have shaped some modern designs and still keeps the form and function dance going in a fun way. Another category is the really cool, really likely this could be next year's model. But in the end, it'll probably not look this cool because for some reason they never do look like the fine designs of the prototypes. For my first printed car, this is closer to my target category. After numerous sketches and head scratches, I'm honing in on a direction I'm excited about. I think a lot of us would love to have a fun sports car in the garage, but we opt for the sport utility vehicle for all the reasons. Okay, I just checked, and yep, almost 50% of cars sold are SUVs, and less than 2% are sports cars. And I also just did a survey, and 100% of those asked said they'd rather have a sports car than an SUV if they had the keys just handed over to them as a gift. So 12 and 15-year-old boys confirm it. I'm onto something. As a car designer, appreciator, observer, I've thought even the supercar sports car makers tend to make their SUVs look a lot like all the other SUVs, which sort of makes sense, I suppose. What I'm attempting to do is design a car that has a more sports car look than most sport utilities end up with, and maybe lean a little more sports car than utility, but still have a lot of utility in there. A taller, aggressive stance, 4 doors, of course, some extra room, all the things a typical sports car lacks, but still looks more like a sports car, feels like a sports car that spent time in the gym, training. I think it's a new category, not the crossover or some other subcategory, a new one. Maybe it's an athletic utility vehicle. It's a jock utility. Strong sports tough vehicle. A rugged sports vehicle, RSV. A rugged extreme vehicle, REV. It's so new, there's no name yet for this category. Now time to make this thing. I've always noticed the high-end folks like to carve these things out like this, and it's always impressed me. Son, What do you think?
That is good. Impressive.
Here are the parts. I've used TPU on the tires, excellent rubber type feel, clear for the headlamps, lights and windows, and PLA for the rest. A good bit of sanding, and though it looks like there's texture there on these layer lines, this feels completely smooth. Time for some paint and polish and presenting. Here's my design of a rugged auto vehicle. RAV4, darn it, Toyota. No, it's a rugged advanced auto racer. Rawr. I'll go with that. I like it. You might say it's not much SUV-ish. I'd say probably, but you don't realize there's a lot of trunk space back here, and the back seats fold down, and it does have a lot of versatility in my mind, I'm imagining. So, and that's what the engineers would do with my design, I'm sure. It's not an SUV, it's a rugged, advanced auto racer. I'll be honest, I like it. Certainly a fun journey. Thanks for watching.